The annual March for Life puts a bright spotlight on just how globally devastating abortion is.
There are more lives lost worldwide to abortion. The estimates range between 42 and 54 million. More lives lost to abortion worldwide each year than all other causes of death combined.
Steve Carlin writes about battling abortion in This Is When We Begin to Fight. He appreciates the March for Life.
It reminds people of the barbarity of abortion. It fires us up. It inspires us to go out and stand in prayer at a 40 Days for Life vigil, to serve in our pregnancy help centers.
People at a prayer vigil had a deep impact on Michelle Shelfer's life. She'd already had one abortion and was headed into a clinic to get another.
There was a cluster of people praying outside. Now, they didn't say a word to me. They didn't come close to me. But I know what they were doing. And even if I hadn't known, their prayers were answered, because I went in, paid my money, and sat down. And at the end of an hour, the doctor still hadn't come to call me in. And I got up and I left. My husband was going through the same change of heart at the same time. And he called me and dragged me out of there. We got our money back. We sat in the car of in the parking lot of the abortion clinic. And he proposed to me there. And that's where we started our married life and our family. I really credit those people who were standing outside the clinic.
Danielle D'Souza Gill wrote The Choice, The Abortion Divide in America. She says those praying outside clinics or joining the March for Life help to counter the culture's message.
Right now, we don't have the media, we don't have Hollywood, we don't have all these things, these outlets for people to say, oh yeah, I really do think things that so many other people think. The left often makes us feel like we're the weirdos. We're the people who are the fringe people. Our views are really not the mainstream.
I think there's value in seeing those around you who are questioning the morality of abortion.
Shelfer, an animator, has drawn and published hundreds of babies' faces she calls foundlings.
To honor the almost 2 billion children who have been lost to abortion worldwide in the last, I think it's 60 years or so.
She helps lead those feeling guilty about past abortions toward healing in her book, Prepare a Room. And she offers the foundling portraits to those facing up to their post-abortion trauma.
Many of them don't even come to grips with it for 10, 20 years after the event occurred. It's a very, very delayed process.
Carlin says the anguish is often even worse than for those suffering miscarriages, a pain with which his family is well acquainted.
We just had some friends over for dinner who just suffered their 5th miscarriage. It's a tremendous loss. And it was a very difficult experience for my wife and me. And as a husband and father, it was very difficult not only to lose 2 children to miscarriage, but to see the physical and the emotional pain that it wrought on my wife.
But for those who abort, Shelfer says there's the added crushing weight of guilt. She read from Prepare a Room how the act betrays their very identity of being maternal.
We were not just women having abortions. We were mothers having abortions. Abortion turned us mothers into unmothers.
It costs. Gill's book, The Choice, references a study of 877,000 women that shows those who had an abortion are 110% more likely to abuse alcohol and 155% more likely to commit suicide. Gill reads from her book how women describe their experiences.
I didn't expect the grief. It overwhelmed me. Every woman I've spoken to who had an abortion, regardless of their situation at the time, spoke of grief. It feels like you aren't allowed to grieve if it was your choice to do this.
These women are carrying these things around for years, even Christian women, even the women sitting beside you in the pews.
Shelfer knew what it was like to feel God couldn't forgive her.
I felt that the sin of abortion that I had committed was beyond his reach. His arm was just too short to reach me.
Shelfer has found peace and forgiveness and now helps other post-abortive women reach it. Meanwhile, efforts like the March for Life and 40 Days for Life concentrate on driving down the number of future abortions.
We're down now from around 1.8 million a year, perhaps 30 years ago, to under 1 million a year. Long way to go, but a lot of progress has been made so far.
The March for Life, being mostly virtual this year, comes to a computer near you Friday, January 29th. Paul Strand, CBN News, Washington.